Hey there, Aurelie here from withhisgifts.com. Welcome, thank you for stopping by. Today I have another video tutorial for you and we are going to create this lovely card. Let's get started. The stamp sets we'll be using today are Butterfly Basics, Number of Years, and Balloon Celebration. And our ink pads today are Calypso Coral, Always Artichoke, Saffron, Sahara Sand, and Early Espresso. Also going to use the Stampin' Write marker in the Early Espresso. And for our lovely flowers, we will be using the Pansy punch, the Petite Petals punch, as well as the Botanical Builders Framelits dies. So for our cardstock, we have our card base here in Early Espresso, and that is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. We have our mat here in the Calypso Coral, cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Our card front in Very Vanilla, cut at 5 1/4 by 4. And we have another piece of the Very Vanilla cut at 4 1/2 by 3/4 of an inch, and we will be stamping our sentiment on that. We will also be using a piece of the watercolor paper. For our embellishments, I have about 9 inches of the Venetian crochet trim and about 28 inches of the linen thread. Okay, we're also going to use these lovely pearls. These particular pearls are not Stampin' Ups. I got them from a local arts and crafts outlet store a while ago, and they were not sold in the original packaging, so I don't know whose they are, but I do know that Stampin' Up! Does make some pearls, and I will include that product number on the screen as well as down below for you. And then you'll notice that these pearls here are a different color, and that's because I've already taken my Early Espresso marker and colored them in. I did that beforehand because takes a while to dry and we want them in this color. So okay, so I think we're ready to get started. Let me go ahead and move this out of the way so I can get my craft mat here, because we're going to get a little bit messy. And I'm going to go ahead and start with my watercolor paper, and I'm going to take my Pansy punch and I am going to punch out a couple of these. Next, I'm going to take my Petite Petals punch. I'm going to punch a couple of these, like so. Okay, so here are my cutouts. The next thing I want to do is take my Calypso Coral ink pad, and I am going to go ahead and just smear some right onto my mat here, just like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and take Stampin Spritzer that is filled with water, and I'm going to go ahead and spray my ink just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and saturate the flowers that I just cut out. So that looks good. Nice and saturated. Okay, so now what we want to do is I have a foam brush here for the thickness of the handle. And then I'm going to take the larger of the flowers and I'm going to set it right on the middle, and then I'm going to fold my petals up just like that. Okay, pinching them. Then I'm going to remove that, and then I am going to pinch these just like that. Okay, just like that. So this is what that looks like. Go ahead and do the other one. So I'm just pulling up my petals like that, wrapping them around the handle of my foam brush, and then I am going to proceed to roll and pinch, roll and pinch. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing to my smaller flowers, but I'm going to use a paintbrush here because it's a smaller tip. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a little baby wipe here and clean up this mess. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is going to go ahead and dry these with my heat gun here. Okay, so our pieces are dry. The next thing we want to do is to carefully go ahead and open them. We don't want to flatten them. We want to keep the shape that we got. Just like that. Okay, so here are our flowers. The next thing that we want to do, I'm going to go ahead and take my glossy accents. And I'm going to take one of the larger ones and I'm going to put some glue right in the middle. Just like that. And then I'm going to offset the second larger one and put it right on top, just like so. Okay. Go ahead and take my foam brush and use the handle to press down and pull up the petals a little bit, just like that. Okay, here we go. So the next step is to put some glue in the center of the top one, the top flower. And then we're going to go ahead and set down one of the tiny ones. We're going to offset it. And we'll use our paintbrush to push down. Like that. Okay. Then one more. So that's what we have so far. And we're going to go ahead and set this aside. So for the next step, I'm taking the piece of the watercolor paper. I'm going to go ahead and take my Always Artichoke. I'm going to go ahead and apply some of the ink right onto my craft mat. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my spritzer and put some water on that. Now, we're not going to dip the paper onto the ink, because what I found was for the Always Artichoke, it got a little bit too light for me when I did it that way, so I'm going to apply the color like this with a dry paintbrush. So put your ink on your craft mat, spray some water on there, and then with a dry brush paint it onto your watercolor paper. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a baby wipe and clean up my mess. And then I'm also going to go ahead and put down some of the early espresso onto my craft mat and some water. And I'm going to go ahead and paint a little bit of my paper. Alrighty, let me clean up this mess. I'm going to go ahead and put some heat on here and get this dry. Okay, so that's good and dry. And the next thing we want to do is go ahead and get our die pieces that we need, and we're going to cut out some leaves. So I have my magnetic platform. I have an acrylic plate. I'm going to go ahead and set this down. And from the Botanical Builders Framelits dies, I have this leaf. I'm going to need a total of 4 of those. And then I have this leaf here, and I'm going to need 2 of those. And then I have this piece here, and I'm going to need 2 of those, and those we're cutting on the brown side. So again, magnetic plate, acrylic plate, paper, dies, second acrylic plate. I will run it through my Big Shot, get all my pieces, and be right back. Okay, so here are my pieces. I'm going to go ahead and turn them around. So put the color side down. And I don't know if you can see these. Those were the brown pieces. Again, I'm going to spray color side down. Then I'm going to roll these up as much as I can, just a little bit. Just want to rough these up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my heat gun. Alrighty, go ahead and open these up like that. Okay, so these look good to me. I'm going to go ahead and set these aside. These need a little more color, so I am going to go ahead grab my early espresso like that. Get some more color on here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and ball them up again. Like so. A little more heat on them. That looks better. So we'll try to open them up just a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish assembling our flowers. I'm going to nip these leaves, or the little stems off those. Okay. Alrighty. So I went ahead and made another flower because I don't know what I was thinking. We do need 2 flowers, and I made just one on camera, so I went ahead and made the other one. I'm dropping some glue in the middle. Then I'm going to take this little piece here, and there's a little flat part right there, so that's what I'm looking for, and I'm going to put that right in the middle, just like that. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one, just like that. Next step, we are going to take a couple of these flowers. I'm going to put some glue right there on that leaf, and then I'm going to put this one on there just like that. Okay. And then I will put some glue on top of that one. And then I will put my flower just like that. Okay, so there's that. Isn't that beautiful? And we'll do the same thing for the next one. Okay, so there's our flowers. You have those, and we'll need these for the front of our card, but we're gonna set those aside now and come back to those later. So I'm gonna go ahead and go wash my hands a little bit. Okay, so I'm back. My hands are clean. They do not look clean, but trust me, they are. They are stained, and that will come up later when I put a little more effort into it. But for now, it's good enough, and it will keep the ink from transferring onto my cardstock, which was the goal. So we've achieved that. So we're gonna move forward with getting our card front done. And we are going to get to stamping. So I am going to go ahead and grab my Saffron. Okay, put that down, and then the first stamp set that we're using, we're going to use the Butterfly Basics, and we're going to use this honeycomb here. And I have it all ready. I am going to ink up my stamp off on my craft mat, and then I'm just going to proceed to cover the entire card with this lovely stamp. So there is that. The next ink pad that I'm going to grab is the Sahara sand. Okay. From the number of years, we're going to use this little leaf grouping here. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on. Stamp off, and then just proceed to cover the entire card front. So move your stamp around, fill in the gaps, just like that. Okay, so that looks good to me. The next thing we want to do is grab our handy dandy little distressing tool, and then just gently rough up the edges, just slightly. like that. Okay, and we'll go all the way around. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for my mat, the Calypso Coral. Just going over the edges with my little distress tool here. And okay, I did have another piece of the Calypso Coral that is going to be like a faux ribbon across the front of my card. So that is cut at 5 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to go ahead and distress the edges a little bit for this as well. All done. Now the next step is to go ahead and grab my early espresso along with a sponge, and I am just going to go around the edges of all these pieces. Okay, so here's all my pieces. They've been distressed and sponged around the edges. Now the next step is to mount, and for that I'll go ahead and grab my little ATG gun, and I am going to put some tape along the back of my little faux Calypso Coral ribbon, and then I am going to mount that onto here. We're gonna go right about there. Alrighty, so now and then I'm going to go ahead and mount this. So I'm going to go down the middle. Let's just do one side here, so we're straight like that. And we'll bring it around. Okay, like that. Alright, and let's get some tape on the back of this. We're going to mount that onto our mat, Calypso Coral mat, like so. And then one more. Alrighty, here's my card base. I'm going to mount that just like so. There's that. Okay, looking good, looking good. Now, let's proceed to getting our flower up here. Put some glue on the back of my leaf. Okay, and then we're just gonna gently place it on there. Remember what I say always, do not commit until you're absolutely sure that it is where you want it to be. Okay, so that looks about right. If I put my flowers there. Okay, that looks about right. It's moving around, but it looks about right. So we're going to press down. So now the next step is to take our linen thread, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around my fingers, just like so. Okay. Then putting some glue down. So working with this always looks a mess. Always looks like, okay, that's not going to look good, but it does. It does in the end, it does. So we're just getting these little strays tucked in into this little pool of glue that we have on here, just like so. Okay, so that's what we have so far, and then I am going to go ahead and mount my flowers. So okay, let's go ahead and mount. So put some glue on the back like that, and that looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and get my sentiment. I have the piece of Very Vanilla that's 4.5 by 3 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and grab my Saffron and my honeycomb stamp. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stamp off and then just get the front of this just like that. Okay. That looks good to me. Next, we are using the balloon celebration, and we are using this happy birthday here. And in the early espresso. So I have it here mounted. And I am going to go about halfway. Press down. Like that. Next, I'm going to take some scissors and I'm going to go ahead and get my little banner. Okay, just like that. So what I did was I cut down the center. And then I cut in from the corners to where I cut. And that gives me a banner. Okay. And then I am going to also use my distress tool. Okay. And then with my sponge and the early espresso, I'm going to go around my edges. Alrighty. I'm then going to grab my paintbrush. Let's do this with the bone folder. I don't know where my bone folder is right now, but I'm going under and then over on the other side. So we want to create kind of a 3D banner of sorts, okay? Like that. And we're going to cut this off because we don't need that much. So that looks good to me, and I am going to go ahead and get my glue dots, and I'm quickly going to put one on the end here. This will be tucked in under our flower, and then I'm going to put one right here where this is flat a little bit, so right before the banner swings up. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead. Oops. There we go. That worked out because the flower just came and got out of my way. Thank you, flower. Okay, so there we go. And then the final step is to grab the pearls that we colored with our Stampin' Write Early Espresso marker earlier. And we're going to put 3 of these right in the corner like so. And there you have it, a super duper elegant card that was super duper easy to make. So if you're anything like me and you live somewhere where spring is confused and it doesn't know that it's late, jot down the supply list down below and head on over to my website at withhisgifts.com and place your order today so you can make these lovely cards at home and bring spring into your craft room. Also, if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love the opportunity to earn your business. Go ahead and visit me at withhisgifts.com, check out what I'm all about, and hit me up with any questions that you have. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, thank you and have a great day.